Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics and sorry for the quick vlog, but back at work now, but I thought this was quite an important one because I've noted that there's a lot of people, particularly in Europe, I suppose outside of the UK where it makes more sense, where Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, has gone to Angela Merkel, gone to President Macron, Emmanuel Macron, and been told that the backstop's going nowhere, and yet Boris Johnson looks pleased as punch. Why is that? So I'm going to go over that. But first, if you find yourself enjoying the video, then please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. So let's start off with the visit to Germany first of all this week for Boris Johnson, Prime Minister, who went there, and Angela Merkel was basically saying, go on then, give us your ideas for dealing with Ireland. To which of course he hasn't got any. Then she was quipping about, well, the idea of the backstop and the transition period is that you have a couple of years to come up with a solution. But she said, but maybe you can come up with one within 30 days. Now, you look at that and you think to yourself, well, what's Boris Johnson got to be pleased at there? That's not how it was reported in the British press. Now, when I say the British press, what I really mean is the Brexit supporting Tory press. Those are not always the same things, bear in mind, you know, because you do have Tory backing papers that are not necessarily pro-Brexit at all. But the way it's reported there is that Angela Merkel thinks that something can be done about the backstop within 30 days. That's how it's been reported. So then you take Boris Johnson's little visit to France. There you've got President Macron saying that what is his priority is the integrity of the single market and the integrity of the EU itself, and that the backstop is needed for the integrity of Ireland. Now, the Daily Telegraph at least, which is the paper that Boris Johnson used to write for and one of the Brexit backing Tory newspapers, the way they presented it as President Macron says that the withdrawal agreement can be changed. I mean, that's not even just playing on words, because with the Chancellor Merkel quote, you know, you can sort of see it as just being misleading by saying, oh, you know, Merkel says that, you know, we can sort something out in 30 days. Well, no, the reference to 30 days was, oh, well, maybe you, Boris, can sort something out in 30 days. Let's have it. It was a bit of a taunt, really, a bit taking the piss. But that was just a straight up lie about what Macron said. No words that he came... Obviously, I don't speak French. I have to rely on translations myself. But no words that I have seen. And you know anyway, because he's made it quite clear that the withdrawal agreement is not for changing. Everyone in the EU, apart from the British Prime Minister apparently, has made it clear that the withdrawal agreement is not for changing. You can change the political declaration, no problem. They've been clear about that, but not with the withdrawal agreement. And if we had something that would do the same job as the backstop, then the backstop, I remind people, doesn't come into play anyway. So that's why Boris Johnson's so pleased. Remember, everything he's doing at the moment is playing for that support base, that extreme support base. Here is the calculation for Boris Johnson. He cannot prevent a general election. I'm not saying a general election is inevitable this autumn. There are a couple of things that could stop it. But Parliament are not going to allow him to take us out with no deal. Boris Johnson is gearing up for a general election. His calculation is Jeremy Corbyn issued the vote of no confidence. I lose it, but then the national, you know, no one deposes me, so I'm still Prime Minister because they can't agree on who should be Prime Minister. And so we end up with a general election. I'm going to choose a date for that general election that is basically when it's too late. So we end up crashing out of the EU. And in the few weeks before the deadline, Parliament's dissolved because it dissolves about 17 working days before a general election. That's how it works. Now, that in itself isn't good enough for him. Yes, it takes us out of the EU. He doesn't care about us leaving the EU under any circumstances. What he cares about is power. So he then needs to win that general election. The next part of the calculation is, what is his main rival? It's not the Labour Party. It's not the Lib Dems. It's the Brexit Party. The Brexit Party nicking their votes and allowing Labour and the Lib Dems into a load of seats. So he has to basically kneecap the Brexit Party. The only way he can do that is what the Brexit Party are appealing to are the extremists, the ones who think they want a no-deal Brexit. And that is why he's saying what he's saying. That's what he's doing, that's why he's, you know, the Tory press, the Brexit supporting press are saying what they're saying, even if it is just a downright lie, let alone just misleading, because he needs to stop the Brexit Party nicking his votes, so that if that general election then returns a Conservative government, he stays as Prime Minister, which is all he really cares about, and of course the whole thing is then knackered. And that's how you can read into any of his language, all of this extreme language, because it's not just about his insistence that he wants a deal, but putting no effort into getting a deal. You know, he is on a course for no deal, that's all there is to it. What he's asking for with regards to the backstop is not legally or politically possible. I can't state that enough. Macron has said that, Merkel has said that, simple as that. Obviously, Merkel was a bit more polite about it because she said, well, I'll tell you what, you come up with an idea then, thus giving the idea that potentially there is a solution to it. But at the same time, you know, if the best minds in Europe, including in the UK, didn't come up with a solution in 3 years, why do we think Johnson's cretinous cabinet are going to come up with one in 30 days? But they're welcome to try, is what Merkel's saying. You go ahead, son. But if they do come up with one, then her next response is going to be, right, great, implement it. The backstop's going nowhere, but the backstop isn't needed if you've got something implemented. That's the whole point of it, backstop. Macron was just more blunt about it. Good. I actually quite like both of them at the moment. I'm a bigger fan of Merkel in general. I think she's, you know, she does better domestically as well as internationally. Macron is a good statesman on the international stage. Perhaps the French people are not as happy with him. But yeah, he was just being blunt about it. He just said, yeah, no. So the Daily Telegraph couldn't actually spin any of his words. They just basically lied. And you know, that is why he's so happy, because it's getting that message across to the British public, who are not going to get their news from people who are going to report it correctly, because otherwise they'd never be Brexit supporters in the first place. They're getting the message that Boris Johnson is being hard like and can get the deal, so that if there is a general election, you know, they back him. It's everything that he's saying, everything that every cabinet member, a member of his cabinet is saying, he's all about that. So if you are a bit confused as to why he looked so happy and was so relaxed, I mean, part of it will just be show. He has to look happy, has to look relaxed, but he genuinely will be, because he didn't care what either of them were saying. He only cared what was going to be reported back home, and that's what's reported back home. So I hope you found the video interesting. If you'd like to support the channel further, please click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.